Okay, that's recording. And now let's do this. I'm going to introduce you. Here we go. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Healing Grace, the podcast. I have one of my most special guests that are coming on today. She's my auntie, Maureen Hancock, the medium next door. She is the fucking bomb.com. Everyone loves her, knows her, just absolutely adores her. You guys are going to adore her today. We have so much to talk about. So, hi, auntie.
Hi, Nisi.
I'm so happy to have you on here. Literally was just texting her and I was like, hey, would you come on my podcast sometime? And she was like, yeah, let's do it right now. I was like, oh, done. I had
Waiting for the invitation. Wah, wah.
Yeah, girl, I asked you a while ago and you were busy. And then we just, I don't know, life got in the way. So I'm so excited because I think I talk about you a lot, saying that I learned a lot from you when I was coming out of my spiritual closet. But I would like for people to hear from your own mouth how you became a medium and what your story is before we get into the real good stuff.
Yeah, so when I was a child, I had lead paint poisoning, and this is back in the day when everything was lead paint based. And growing up south of Boston with you as well, when you were finally born, I used to chew the windowsills and the crib, and everything was lead paint. And I slipped into a coma, and they rushed me to Children's Hospital in Boston, and I was 18 months old. And I remember, I don't know why I remember this, but just my siblings were always playing out in the yard, and I was almost 2. And you shouldn't have a memory at 2, but I did. And then I talked my sister Mary Grace into eating the pain. I said it tasted like candy, like Necco wafers. It has a very sweet taste, and it was an old doctor's house. So at Children's, they put in a brain shunt, and I was in a coma. And I was in Children's Hospital for about a year straight, and then in and out for another couple of years. I came home at 5 years old, and I used to see spirits walking all around the house. So that was the first part of it. Cut to 1992, I was in a horrible car accident, broke every bone in my face, fell asleep at the wheel, and I felt Grammy Mack, your great grandmother, my grandmother, go through my body. And I remember just yelling out when I hit, and it was her voice. And the woman who answered the door at the house where I hit said somebody woke her up out of a sound sleep and shook her shoulders and said, go downstairs to the kitchen and wait. So she did. There I was. And they brought the jaws of life for the victim because the car was crushed. But I was standing outside of a completely crushed vehicle, sent to Mass General in Boston, where they were going to do all kinds of surgery. Everything healed on its own. I mean, literally fractured skull. My eye was in a million pieces, my nose, cheeks, jaw, you name it. And after that, I started to hear the voices from beyond.
God, weren't you like a bloody hot mess and walked up to that woman's door and she like screamed her head off when she saw you, the neighbor?
Yes, I didn't realize, because I don't know if anyone's ever been injured in an accident, but the adrenaline's flowing. I'm, I'm just going like on instinct to just get help, get help. And I do remember like opening the door, the car door. I bent the steering wheel in half with my face. So if you can imagine what my face must have looked like. And I couldn't really feel it, probably because it was out to here. And then she started screaming. I literally was like, knock, knock, knock. Hi. This is how we are, right? Sorry to bother you, but did you call an ambulance? And she was like, and screaming to the point, like she got me a towel. I remember putting my face in the towel. Then they came, they called for the jaws of life for the victim in the car, but then they thought she was the victim because she was hysterical, like on the floor. And they put her on the stretcher and started to leave. And Night of the Living Dead, I just remember I brought it down and I went, hey. And they were like, oh, and they dumped her. Poof. And they put me on. And I'm such a comedian at heart, as you know. And I said, they kept screaming, Maureen, does your face hurt? Does your face hurt? And I couldn't open my eyes. It was so swollen. And I remember a crack and I go, yeah, is it killing you? I couldn't help it. But I mean, I really was. I was in a lot of pain, but I didn't feel anything, if that makes sense. The
Yeah.
adrenaline and all that.
Mm-hmm.
And they shipped me off to the local hospital first, the Goddard Hospital in Stoughton.
That's the
And
Boston
then,
accent for you people.
and then
Got it. It's
I
Goddard,
was,
but it's Goddard.
well, I was putting that on a little bit.
Oh,
Okay. It was wicked awesome because I said the Goddard Hospital near the Packy. And at Mass General, that's where they went to do surgery. They had to wait a few days because the swelling was enormous. And then they scheduled me for everything because I had a hole in my skull where I had spinal fluid coming in out through my nose. And they needed to repair my eye because there was nothing holding it up. And then they did another CAT scan and everything was healed. I
so
didn't need any surgery. I mean, my nose is still a little messed up. I had 30 stitches down the middle of my face, but you can't tell.
I
You
would
know,
never know you had 30 stitches.
oh yeah.
I had no
Yeah,
idea.
if I like go like that, you can see the line.
For
But
anybody who can't see her, she like kind of made this weird face and
yeah, I made
she's
a weird face.
line. But no, I can't even see it at all. It's that white Irish skin just covers it up.
Yeah. I'm so lucky, so blessed, such a miracle. And then after that, I started to hear voices. So when I was a child, I saw them in my room at 5 years old. And at 25 years old, the car accident, I could hear them. So I tried to shut it off. It caused a lot of anxiety, which I already had. We all have it, the panic attacks and whatnot. But then my mom asked me to start doing hands-on healing for hospice. I was litigation manager at Logan Airport. 9/11 happened. That's when I quit my job. I started a cancer foundation called Manifest a Miracle, and I opened my holistic healing studio called Pathways to Healing. And that's how it all began.
Wow, that's pretty wild.
Mm.
And the fact that there was all these things that happened. I mean, when you were a kid, you had the lead paint poisoning, then you had the car accident, and then you're litigation manager at Logan Airport getting phone calls from family members. I haven't heard from my family member, this and that, and you're already hearing their voices. And the fact that after 9/11 it changed your life, and I think that changed a lot of people's lives was 9/11 actually come out of like your closet. And that's what happened with Zach Brown Band. Same thing. 9/11 happened. He was working like corporate America, and then he was like, fuck this, like life's too short, I'm going to do what I love. And now he's doing what he loves. And you've helped thousands upon thousands of people since starting Pathways to Healing. And then you started you've done so much. Not only do you do your mediumship work, but you helped people find missing people. You worked with those who are passing over to the other side. And I think what would be really good, because I've had many opportunities to explain what mediumship is all about. But now I want to be able to go beyond that and talk about what to expect when, death occurs, or if you know somebody who's about to pass over. You've also helped children, cancer patients. God, I can't even say it all. So I want to talk about well, first and foremost, thank you for helping me, because without your guidance, I would be a lost puppy and I wouldn't know what to do. So with your
Oh,
helping me get out of my spiritual closet was fucking awesome. And I'm very lucky. And people say it all the time. Oh my God, I love your aunt, Maureen Hancock. Oh, Maureen. So it's just such a great honor to have you as my auntie. And but let's talk about what to expect when expecting death. What do you do to help people pass over?
so 25 years I have been assisting those in hospice or otherwise, whether they have cancer, end stage, which is pretty mostly what I do. And then I've been called to people that are like in comas or they need to remove life support, and I'm there when they go through that transition or have to make that decision. So with hospice, my mother, your grandmother, Grace Agnes in heaven, she was on the board of directors for Old Colony Hospice in Stoughton, Mass. And she asked me to start working with cancer patients. And so I do hands-on healing. I study Chinese medicine. I'm a shiatsu practitioner, Reiki master for 26 years, and all kinds of healing modalities. So I would lay my hands on people. And that's when I started to hear the voices like, hey, I'm Billy, her father. I'd be like, what? I'm rubbing her feet. What's happening? And then it was, hey, can you help this person? They're afraid of death and they're going to die. So I started to be there to help the families go through the process of death. We've all been there and you feel so helpless. And what can I do to ease their pain, their fears, and help them, especially the children I work with, help the families that are going to be left behind? Because our loved ones that are getting ready to transition, they're going to be okay. And even if it's, a fast passing, they all come through and tell me and us, like Shawnee, your cousin, my nephew, Auntie, I'm not dead, I'm just different. You're going to be okay. We're still connected. And so, what to expect when expecting death, right? You have that guidebook to come into life, what to expect when expecting, when you're bringing through a new life, a baby. And now, what about if I told you I can help you to understand the process of death and to do hand massage, head massage, a meditation to the beach? Everyone stand around and tell their best story, telling your loved one it's okay to go, I'm going to be okay, which we all do. But making it a beautiful transition instead of the family breaking up, everybody's fighting, they're fighting over stuff or who did what and who didn't, and all this negative energy around that person passing, even after they pass. They're still aware of it. So let's make it the art of dying. How can we make it less fearful, more beautiful, and to stay truly connected after the fact and learn how to create a beautiful non-physical relationship? So that's where I come in with my new book that I'm working on, but also to help you all know that we're still here for a reason. So part of that is to feel connected fully. And how do you do that? And I can talk about that in a minute.
Yeah. And, God, there's so many amazing things that you've done with helping people understand that it's gonna be okay. They are gonna be okay when they get to the other side. For us, it feels like eternity until we see them again. It feels like the days get longer, the months and the years, and before you know it, it's been 20 years since so and so passed. And for them on the other side, it doesn't feel like the time we experience here. It just feels like moments until we're there with them again. And it's just such a fast energy. So I have hope and faith and kind of such peace of knowing that our loved ones who have passed before us, they're not alone. They're not scared. There's no such thing as hate or jealousy. And that their stuff they left behind, it might be sentimental to us, but it's just stuff. And that the most powerful thing that we can keep is their love and their memories that we have with them. So, going into it, you have gone to many people's homes to kind of help them pass. So say you have somebody in a coma, and yes, they can hear us still when they're in that coma state before they transition to the other side. How do you help them in that way? Do you use your Reiki and shiatsu, or do you help talk to the families?
I do a little bit of both. So I can tap into that higher consciousness that is still lingering, like in quantum physics. Energy cannot die or be destroyed, and it's still there. It's cell memory. And with a coma, it's 1 foot in, 1 foot out, as you know. And I can tap in just as I can with someone with Alzheimer's, 1 foot in, 1 foot out. It feels like their soul has already journeyed on and the physical is trying to catch up. And I literally will say, okay, she's saying this, she's saying that, she's talking about this or that. I just visited with a young girl. Let's see, is she a teenager? Yeah, in a coma from a car accident, and she's trying to fight her way back. So that's an instance where I'm trying to help. Like I'm like, push through, come on back to us. And then with somebody that's I know is passing from cancer or something else, it's I tell them all like, create a beautiful space here, play her favorite music. Let's talk. Everyone go one by one, and I'm getting chills right now. That's weird. Spirits here to talk about their favorite memory of this person. Let's laugh. Let's create this space so that they can go out and know everyone here is okay in some sense, even if we're really not okay. It's
Yeah.
okay to not be okay.
Yes,
And I
exactly.
think we lie to them. It's okay to go. Lie, lie. My nose is growing because we'll say anything we can to help them slip out of the physical body. I want folks to know that many of us have truly strong hearts, and it's going to take some time for them to transition. I get so many messages where they say, why won't my mother go? She's ready, she's suffering, but she's not going. What is holding her back? And a lot of times I say, her beautiful big heart. because it's still pumping so strong, and you still have a physical element that's trying to catch up to the spiritual. I think
Right.
a lot of people don't understand that. They're like, he's waiting. And sometimes they do wait for everyone to show up and
Mhm.
say their goodbyes, or have, I don't like this word, but closure, to be able to finally lift and come out of the physical. It's quite a feat to come out. And I've witnessed thousands of passings, and I have seen this 90% of the time. Are you ready? So
Mhm.
they're getting ready to slip out. They have that shallow breath, um, and they are definitely, you know, it's a little, it's the death rattle. It's like, and it's fast, and then they start to rattle, and it's like, oh, they're not feeling pain, I assure you, and they definitely are getting ready to slip out. And then when they slip out, and then it's like this, it's little breaths, right? We saw that with Grammy, my mother.
Yep.
And then it slows down, and then it's gone. And here's what I've witnessed: they either sit up or they open their eyes just before they pass. I have chills, and they say, oh, it's so beautiful. And
Wow.
then they go. And then they
I
go. And they reach their hands out because there's somebody to take them home. So our loved ones in spirit are waiting to take you home when it's time. And they're all gathered, and they're all around, and they're going to have a party, and it's amazing. But
wow.
Candace with Steve Jobs, who didn't believe at all and said, we're worm food. There's nothing, blah, blah, blah. It's darkness. I don't believe in any of that. Somebody has video of him when he died. So he's getting ready to die, and he opened his eyes, and now he couldn't talk for weeks. You're in that sort of morphine coma. And he went, wow. Oh, wow. And he passed.
What? Holy shit, I did not know this at all. Number one, that you witnessed that and that Steve Jobs also did that. That is
Yep.
phenomenal. I didn't even know that. I've seen Grampy pass and I've seen Grammy pass. Those are the two people I've seen pass. So for you to say that they open their eyes or they extend their arms out, and I've had heard this before, but holy crap, that's amazing. And I remember Grampy when he was passing, he was going through the death rattle, and then Grammy, because she's such an Irish Catholic, she wanted to have Father so and so come and do a prayer, and Grammy was like, "Jam, jam," and your dad, my grandfather, is in like full on coma. I don't know if it was Grammy's yelling at him, "Jam, Father's here!" And Grampy opened his eyes and kept them open the entire time while he was giving the prayer over him. And I don't know if they did Hail Marys, I can't remember.
Yes,
But
we did.
even
And
as,
it was the last rites. Yes.
yes. And then as soon as Father left, he closed his eyes and went back into that rattle. It was wild. That was something that I won't forget. And Grammy, she had everybody there, but I feel like we were all laughing in the living room. And when she heard that laughter, she was able to start to pass. And that's when I think Auntie Rosie was like, "She's going, guys." And we like ran into her room and just were surrounding her. But that gives people, I think, such hope knowing that when you see somebody pass, or Steve Jobs, who didn't believe in the afterlife, and to have that reaction, that is so, it gives a lot of peace of like, okay,
Yeah.
there's this afterlife and we are going to be there again. And it must be so beyond beautiful that we don't even know.
And I
So,
have a fantastic story about my friend Carla Bagtaz, who was one of the victims of the Rhode Island nightclub fire. And we worked together, and she wasn't even going to go to that concert that night. I took the train home with her that day, and she was like, my friend has these tickets. I don't know if I'm going to go, blah, blah, blah. And so she did pass in the fire. And I know a lot of folks that passed in the fire. Nikki O'Neill, who was the youngest victim, and if anyone wants a great book, 41 Signs of Hope. He came through with the number 41 since he was a little kid. But anyway, so then I started to work with Charlie, Carla's dad. And Charlie was getting ready to pass. He had lung disease. And so I remember going over to his house, and he said to me, Maureen, Carla was sitting at my fireplace last night on that little stool. Is she coming to get me? Am I going to die? And I was like, maybe, Charlie, because I'm just very honest. I want to prepare them.
mm-hmm.
And He says, okay, well, it was weird. She just kept smiling. And I said, Carla, is that you? And she disappeared. And then the next day I went to work with him because I knew it was going to be soon when he started seeing Carla. When they start to see them, it's usually within, it can be anywhere from 2 to 3 months, 2 to 3 weeks. This I could feel. And he said, Carla was there last night, Maureen. I think I'm getting ready to go. I think she's going to take me. She's here to get me. She's going to take me. She keeps smiling and waving. And I'm like, you know what, Charlie? I think she's coming to get you. He's like, so I'm going to get to be with Carla again? Yes, you are. And the next day he died.
Wow. Oh my God.
I mean, he still looked like he had a couple of months left in him. She came to get him. She came to take him home. Just amazing, right?
Imagine like he did so much. I mean, the loss of his child in a fire with, many others that died, and now he doesn't have that grief anymore. That grief of a parent that's lost a child, that no longer exists for him because he's reunited with her in heaven.
Yeah. No one else I've seen the mist.
Stories.
The mist has come off the body, and you can see like almost like a silhouette of the body float up, like it creates. I've only seen this a few times, and guess what? It was very religious people. And one was a soldier who had like 5 tours in Afghanistan. And the mist comes up. My hands shake when I put my hands on them if they're getting ready to come out of the body. The energy, I literally like shake. I'm like, and I'm going, and I can't breathe. And I'm like, oh, they're getting ready. They're getting ready. I can feel them getting ready to slip out of the body. And it's profound. And it's like no tears because it's like ecstasy in the most profound spiritual way. And they slip out, and all of a sudden that sort of mist, it's angelic. It's almost like you see in the movies where the angel comes out of the body, and I've seen it and I'm paralyzed, just like, when I see it. But it's so amazing to see the soul, and you'll have to come with me. It's profound.
I would love
you, when you're there, and especially little kids, it's so sad. And I will never understand why anyone has to go, or kids especially. I a lot of people, for me, just, I have my faith and whatever, and you have yours too, but I'll never understand. And people will say, why did God do this? And I'm like, sometimes it may go beyond that, and it's your book of life, it's your soul contract. And I've heard you talk about this before as well. And then sometimes when like bad things happen, free will has gotten in the way and changed the course of a soul contract, which we could definitely talk about on the next podcast. Wouldn't that be great?
Yes, we're going to talk about so much. And you're going to possibly have a podcast. Are you working on it right now?
I am. And you know what, Candace? It's going to be called, and you helped me name this, The Medium Next Door podcast. And I'm going to start my first recording next week and go from there, because you've inspired me.
Aww.
And people have said, oh, you should do a podcast for years, even if nobody knew what it was. And I'm going to do it now because you've helped me now back. You've paid it forward right back to me so that I can get the word out to thousands. And mine is going to be a little bit different. I'm going to be doing Dialing the Dead. So I'm going to be doing free readings right on the podcast, and contests and all kinds of guests as well. But I always want to make sure that I have time to do some of these free readings and have special guests come in and do readings on them.
It's going to be so good. And if you guys have not read Maureen's book yet, it's called The Medium Next Door, a real life ghost whisperer, right? Is there something
Adventures of a Real Life Ghost Whisperer.
Adventures of a Real Life Ghost Whisperer. It is so freaking good. Everybody who reads it says they cannot put it down. They've read it in a day. They cried their eyes out and laughed out loud. And so you can find that on Maureen's website, maureenhancock.com. And you can also find it where else?
So they can go to the Maureen Hancock fan page on Facebook, and they can get it on Amazon. And I also have an online school to teach you all to be little mediums. It's called the Maureen Hancock University. You can check it out, get a free video gift on maureenhancock.com. Follow me on Instagram at the Medium Next Door, Maureen Hancock.
I thought it was Medium Maureen Hancock, right?
It is. I know. I just made it up. I don't know. I needed to buy a vowel, Candace.
Oh my God. So, and Maureen and I and my cousin Stasha, which is also Maureen's niece, and Auntie Rosie, which is Maureen's sister. And if you guys are wondering how my aunt and I are related, my dad and her are brother and sister. People all always think it's my mom. So they're one of 9 kids, huge Irish Catholic family. I don't know how Grammy did that. Do you think she had C-sections or did she go vaginally?
She never had a C-section.
What?
Yeah. And yeah, we can't talk about my mother's vagina right now. She had all natural births.
I've always wondered. Okay,
She
God bless.
never had a C-section. And I
Impressive.
think she lost 2 as well. So there would have been 11 of us. Yeah.
Holy crap, because she would birth anything that came out of her.
And guess what? After her first baby, Rosie, she was told by the doctor she could not have any more children
Why?
because she had a blood transfusion. She lost so much blood and she got Weber Christensen's disease. And the priest came in to see her in the hospital and they were giving her the wrong blood in her transfusion. So, like, let's say she's an AB and they were giving her O positive by mistake, which caused her to get this disease, which she had her whole life. That's why she was always in so much pain. And
I didn't
told
know.
never to have kids again. And she went on to have 8 more.
She was like, I'll prove you wrong.
She said, by the grace of God, Grace Agnes.
And by the time she passed away, she was like 4'10", but she was always 5 feet, tiny little lady, and push out 9 kids, God bless. It gives me hope that I can probably push out through my vagina one day. But anyways, I know you're looking.
I can't with you. I can't with you.
We talk about weed on this podcast, vaginas, anything. So everyone is so on board with it.
I'm so used to it.
Yeah, it's like, oh, cool. Candace talking about vaginas again. Big
I
love.
know, but I can hear Gracie in my ear like, no,
Like,
you didn't.
yeah, she's pointing her finger and
what 10 Hail Marys? We're going to be squeezing the beads, Candace. Squeeze the beads.
something's gonna come crashing down on my head, and she's gonna prove me I'm here. But yeah, so me, Stasha, Rosie, Maureen, we actually got the opportunity to be filmed for potential TV shows, which was so much fun. And then we also got to go on the Ricky Lake show, which was awesome. And Ricky is one of our good friends now, and such an amazing experience to be able to go out to Los Angeles, girls from Boston in Los Angeles, and we got to just be on an episode with her. It was pretty
And then
neat.
hang out in her living room after, remember?
Yes,
and partied all night.
All night. I was so drunk that I puked for 9 hours straight the next day.
Was it James Van Prague with us?
Yep, James Van Prague.
And you flashed her video cameras in her driveway.
I did. I got outside, so we're all drunk. We're getting she had a driver that drove us all back to the hotels, and I just pulled my pants down and mooned their security cameras. And she said that her and Christian and her late husband Christian had passed away from suicide last year, and him and her saw my bare ass, and I was
white. They thought it was a polar bear, like a white flash, or Casper, the friendly ghost. But nice bum, where you from?
Yeah, we got the same bum, girl, and we've compared. Does your ass lay like this, or yes, it does.
I had a skater's ass for a while, like Stasha, but
a skater's ass like that, like high up,
high muscly, and then it dropped a little. But I'm bringing it back. I'm bringing back the booty, because if J-Lo can, anyone can.
Big booty, got
big butt, and I cannot lie.
You other can't deny. When a girl walks in, itty bitty waist around thing in your face, you can't get
wrong. Okay. There we go.
So, now what are you I know you've been doing so much. You've helped people, with passing. You've helped children, helped cancer patients. You've done so many other things. What has been something that stuck out on your mind that made you, I think that it's so hard to place ego aside, and also the difference between pride and ego, like having that proud moment, something that you did to help somebody as a conduit for spirit on the other side. Is there anything that sticks out in your mind, maybe a reading or something that you did to help somebody pass that you will always think of and think back to?
There's so many, Candace. I mean, when I'm working with the cancer kids, there's so many that I've helped pass, so they pop into my head quite a bit. And there was a little boy, John from Pennsylvania, and I used to sit with him on Skype, uh, uh, every day while he was getting ready to pass. And 6 years old, so brave, and he'd be eating his cereal. Maureen, tell me about heaven. What's it going to be like? And am I going to be able to do crosswords? Like, he was such an old soul. And when he passed, like, I remember telling the dad, I said, Helen is here to take him. And he's like, well, that was my mother's name, but John never met her. I go, it doesn't matter. She's there. And when he crossed over, he started to come out of the body, a ray of sunlight came down and made the sign of the cross on his chest.
What?
Crazy. Yes. And at his services, I have a picture, I'll post it. He wanted to be a firefighter. So the fire department came and the sun shined through the big flag that they had from the hook and ladder and made the sign of a cross through the flag. It was amazing. And
That's
so I know there's just a higher purpose, higher everything, higher light. And so that's one. But the kids always come to mind. I work with FBI and police on murders and missing people. And I love in the beginning when I can find folks like young kids that are living, just because I can save them from what could be. So that's kind of a specialty.
It is. It's
Yeah.
amazing what the work I know that you've done has been tremendous in helping families get that justice they deserve or know or have something, because I think that's one of the worst ways to grieve is what if, where. I don't know where they are. I can't find their body.
Oh my God, who did this? Is my child okay? How do I have, justice and closure? And I just can't even imagine. It's awful. And I can't solve every case, but I can give them the tools to get closer to finding themselves. So I like to empower others to use their abilities. So I teach police and FBI about intuition. Even if they come kicking and screaming, I'm like, we were all born with the ability to see, feel, hear, sense, even smell. So you have it. So open up to the possibilities, everybody, and know that you were born with these abilities to survive life, earth school, and death.
Yes, and you have that power within you. Now, are you the same way? I'm kind of like this, where I will be watching. I don't watch the news often anymore, but back in the day, I would watch it a lot. Be like, we have a missing child, blah, blah, blah. And just by the picture, you can tell if they're alive or not.
Oh, yeah, that's how I tell through pictures.
Yeah.
So I look in their eyes.
Me too.
That,
Yeah.
so I can tell by the eyes if they're here or there. Yeah.
That's the same thing for me. I'm like, I can just tell if they're not here or not. But I just always wondered if that's how you sense them as well.
Yeah, and then when the FBI or police give me photos, I don't look at them. I have them place them turned over so I can't see them. So let's say I have 30 photos. I put my hand over them and I can feel energy and I can hear the spirit say, that's him or that's her. Flip it now. And I always flip in the faces. They're like, that's our main suspect.
Wow.
Pretty
That's even
wild.
better. So you don't like prejudge like from your human mind, and you're not, you're actually using your medium mind to, connect that way. And you're
to feel the energy and make the connection. Totally. My dogs are going crazy. They can feel spirit here right now.
Totally, 100%.
Yeah. And dogs can feel spirit and cats as well. Here you go.
Yeah, they're fine.
Babies, babies can see spirit. I mean, they're just so open and they're at like a little bit of a lower vibration, or the kids are old souls, right?
Time. And you've done so much work, not only just like physically appearing at places or giving readings, but you also opened up a Zen Loft. Maureen Hancock's The Zen Loft in West Bridgewater, Massachusetts. And you offer so many things there that help with the physical healing, the emotional healing, exercise, everything to do with the mind, body, and soul. So if you guys are near the West Bridgewater, Massachusetts area, you definitely have to go check it out. It's pretty awesome. And you do events everywhere. And you also been on radio. This woman has done everything.
So I opened the Zen Loft because I wanted to provide a place where folks can come. And like you said, it works the mind, body, and soul. So yoga and booty yoga, which you talked me into getting certified in that. And then I opened a place because of it. I don't know if you know that.
I didn't know that.
And then pound and meditation on Sunday mornings at 10 a.m. And then we do all kinds of workshops and It's just a fantastic place. And I'm going to be writing my book there because I need a quiet space. But folks, check it out, the Zen Lofts with an S.com, or on Facebook, the Zen Loft. And yeah, I do events called Postcards from Heaven twice a week, mostly around the New England area, or Boston, Massachusetts, but I teach as well. And I do grief workshops, and I have one coming up in June at Kripalu in the Berkshires. Have you ever been there, Candace?
I haven't. I've heard so many good things about Kripalu.
Yeah, so with Rosie Dalton, Anastasia's mother, your aunt, my sister, and it's called Finding Joy Through Grief, and it's Father's Day weekend, so they can go on kripalu.org. And I just booked my retreat in Costa Rica.
That's
Called,
right.
yep, spiritual immersion. So it's called Soul Shift, a spiritual immersion. And we do everything from past lives. I'm going to do like Reiki attunements. I'm going to give everyone a message from spirit. It's limited to 35 people. We're going to do intuition work. They have a private waterfall. It's on a mountain overlooking the ocean. They have 3 private saltwater pools. I could just go on and on. So if people want to find out about that, Maureen at maureenhancock.com, and I'll send you the link and you can check it out. It's going to be amazing.
To go to Costa Rica and just have such an amazing time, have a soul shifting moment in your life. And
I'm going to Monica the Medium's wedding on Sunday of that weekend in Costa Rica. You are?
Yeah, I'm gonna make my way down there. So I'll probably sleep in your bed.
Oh my gosh, I'm 20 minutes from where she's getting married.
That's perfect. So a double whammy. And we love Monica the Medium. She's a good friend of ours as well.
Yeah.
Monica has looked up to Maureen for so long. So that is freaking awesome. And I love that you're doing that double whammy.
I didn't know you were going.
Yeah, I am. I just gotta buy tickets.
Oh my God, me too.
Yeah.
I have to get my passport updated.
Oh yeah, girl, I gotta do that ASAP because we're Daltons and we do things kind of last minute and fly by the seam of our pants, truly. So this is like, last minute for everything. I usually do podcasts at like midnight and I have to have it out by the next like 6 hours. So makes total sense. But this has been so fun because, like I've said before, I've talked about mediumship before. So I feel like people got that good vibe on that and they understand it, and not to beat a dead horse and talk about mediumship again. But what else you have done, which you've gone further beyond the mediumship and helping people pass, helping people in comas, helping families understand what their families are going to experience, and that the best thing that you can do is just love the person while they're here, and when they're in the afterlife you still have that relationship. And on top of it, the stuff that may be left behind, it can make or break families. Money can be such an evil component in this world. It can do good or it can do bad. And I just know that your work with helping people and giving people a sense of relief of knowing that there is this afterlife, also your work with the FBI and the police, and just being able to, you give your every last bone and cell and muscle and tissue in your body to help people. This woman, I don't think sleeps.
No, I don't.
So you put yourself last, and not because you just do, you just give. And it's so inspiring to me because as a medium, sometimes we can burn the fuck out where we're like, I'm exhausted, I'm tired, I want to cry, I'm helping everybody. And sometimes you reset. And there's been moments where I'm like, how am I going to do this forever? How am I going to do this? How am I going to keep helping people? And I will see you and you'll do like 3 things in a day. You do like the Facebook lives where you give people readings because you're like, I just want to help. And you just do it from your heart. And I'm like, wow, I'm inspired by her. And she just did 5 other things today. So thank you. And you keep me going.
I do have to say, don't you feel like this is the year of self-care for everyone, though? If I could leave one piece of advice for everyone, it's like, if you want to get better in touch with not only your intuition, but your grief and your spirit loved ones, make time for you. Even if it means get out in nature or getting into the ocean. Himalayan pink sea salt in your bath water is 10 times more powerful than Epsom salt. It's an anti-inflammatory, but it is a tea bag for grief. And I also want people to stand on the roots of a tree outside. It's free. Put your hands on the tree and feel the heartbeat of the tree and let that energy come up and ground you. So I'm going to try to take my own advice this year, Candace, because eventually your body starts to like let you know you can't keep doing this. And my advice to you too, you have to feed the well, just John Holland said to me, he's like, you're like a vehicle, Maureen, and if you don't do the maintenance, you're going to break down.
Mhm.
And there's a point. So that's why I'm going to do the podcast. I'm going to write my book. I'm going to try to take time for me and get out in nature. And I hope to see so many of you at one of my retreats this year. I'll be all over the place. I'll be back in California in November at the 1440.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, so I'll have you come. It'll
Yes.
be great.
That'd be so great.
And Omega in New York with Art De Silva on a writing workshop for grief.
Oh, really?
Yep. So maybe a little bit of automatic writing, a little bit of writing your journal, getting your grief out through writing. He's amazing. So that'll be great too.
I have tons of listeners in New York, so that would be a great.
Oh, you do? Yeah, omega.org, I believe it is.
Yep.
And I'm with Art De Silva, and I'll be giving tons of readings all weekend as well.
And for the 1440, which is Northern California, I have tons. That's my second biggest state that listens to my podcast.
Love it. I'll be there with Colette Darren Reed. The beginning of November, and it's like a portal there. I'm there November 6th, 7th, and 8th. And I'll be back with David Kessler, who wrote the 5 stages of grief, and then the 6th stage of grief he just came out with, which is amazing. If anyone's grieving, get the 6th stage of grief, David Kessler. We're at Kripalu, November 20th, 21st, 22nd. So I love teaching. Do you love teaching?
I freaking love teaching. It just got something else about. I'm laughing because her huge dog Baxter is licking her face and loving her right now.
He's begging me for food because that's all labs care about. Food.
Yep. Food.
So I love teaching, and I can't wait. Like, that's why I have the Maureen Hancock University online. You learn about intuition, nutrition, spirit communication made easy. I'm on my plant-based diet right now, and my readings are through the roof.
Mm-hmm. It's the diet changes everything. That's fantastic. And you'll catch Maureen time to time with Jane Van Prague too. She's just connected with everyone. They're so great. And you definitely have to get her book. Like I said, Maureen Hancock, it's The Medium Next Door. You'll find that on her website, maureenhancock.com. This is where you can find her retreat. You can contact her and she can send you the information for Costa Rica. You guys are gonna love it. It's limited to 35 people only. So you better get on it now because it's gonna be super intimate. And you're going to have this one-on-one really with Maureen. And there's so much to it. I'm so excited you're writing a second book. Everybody's been waiting for you to write a second book because the first one was just so phenomenal. And you guys are going to have to stay tuned for her podcast, The Medium Next Door. It is going to be phenomenal. And I can't wait. So when that comes up, make sure you subscribe to it and rate it. And it's going to be so fantastic. So I love you so much. And I'm so grateful that you just were like, yeah, hell yeah, let's do this. We're both like at the jammies and we're chilling. So
I love it. And I'm so proud of you, Candace.
Thank you.
Thank you. Proud. You worked so hard as well. And everything you said to me, I'm the rubber, you're the glue. Everything bounces off of me and sticks to you.
Remember that? I'm the rubber.
I can't believe you know that one. You're so young. I'm so old.
I know that. Yeah, I'm the rubber, you're the glue. Everything that bounces off me sticks to you, bitch. So we're tough little Irish bitches. But anyways, you are awesome. And you guys definitely go follow her on Facebook, Maureen Hancock's fan page. You can like it and follow her, and also on Instagram, Maureen Hancock Medium, I think it is, or Medium.
It's Medium Maureen Hancock.
Medium Maureen Hancock. I will tag her on my Instagram as well, so you can follow her there. So thank you so much, and we'll talk to you soon.
All right, you're the best. And hey, hugs from heaven.
Oh shit! I forgot. Hang on. Let me record that. Oh, and one more thing that Maureen always says: you gotta feel it to heal it. And what's the other thing you say?
Hugs from heaven.